Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Atlanta Falcons Nation channel. Of course, if you're new to this stream, please head on over. If you're on Facebook, Twitter, wherever you are, head on over to YouTube so you can get us subscribed. We appreciate you guys tuning in to us tonight. But we have a special guest in the house. And a lot of people may know his face if you've watched a certain series, but we're going to get into that a little later. But I'm excited about this because it's an honor to just have someone of your presence to join our show tonight. Because, we are the voice of the Falcons fan, and we honor you guys. You guys bring us the content, the facts, and things that we can present to our fans and everything. So I appreciate you once again. So let's go ahead and get into the proper introduction. Who are you? Let everybody know who you are.
I'm appreciate you so much for the intro, and I'm thankful to be here. Happy to be here too. It's an honor to be with you so much. So I'm Kris Rhim. I'm the multimedia features reporter for the Falcons and AtlantaFalcons.com, and I'm about 4 months in now. I think 4 months today. Actually.
Yeah. You just started along with Tori and I can't think of his other guys.
Scott Bear.
There you go. Yes, yes.
Yep. Yeah.
So I was there when I seen all that happen. We actually had Tori on the show previous too, before she even was promoted to the Atlanta Falcons, back when she was with the Athletic, maybe a few months back. We had her on then. So having the pleasure to speak with you is also an honor. So let's go ahead and get into the questions, shall we? All right. And so you introduce yourself, but tell us a little bit about yourself once again. How did you become the Falcons multimedia features reporter?
Yeah, so I was at the Boston Globe before. I'm originally from Philadelphia, and then I went to college in Springfield, Massachusetts, and then I was at the Globe, and then I applied for this job. Well, I saw the job, and it seemed pretty cool because in general, my passion for journalism is telling the stories of players, underneath the uniforms, and specifically, I haven't gotten to do this enough yet, but marginalized players and players of color, and amplifying those stories. So I saw a position where I could, write features and longer things, and that really stood out. So I applied, and then Scott kind of called me. Scott's the digital editor. He called me like 10 minutes after I applied, and then
oh wow, yeah. So he was really interested in you.
He was. And then he sent me. Then I went through the interview process with him, and then some other higher ups at the Falcons, and then they offered me the job, and came down on the 16th, and came down on the 14th and I've been going ever since.
Okay, and how's the adjustment to Atlanta life? Have you found your barber yet? I saw the bio when you were saying you're still looking for your barber and trying to get adjusted to the culture.
Yes, I did find my barber. Thankfully, I found a good barber. Actually, I just got out of there, so
okay.
Yes.
So you was prepared for this interview.
Yes, I was. And so I found a barber, and I got my first car because I Atlanta, you got to drive everywhere. Boston and Philly, kind of like more walkable cities and public transit. So got my first car, and still getting adjusted to the traffic. I think I'm adjusted, but that's the people are nice, and the food is good, and the weather is good. Most importantly, the weather is good. This point last year, I'll be walking through snow up to my knees. So
so yeah. We're very spoiled here because as you can probably see, our winters don't really get extremely cold. One day we're wearing t-shirts and shorts. The next you might put on a little windbreaker, and
I love it.
That's about it. Okay. I love it. Let's go ahead and move on to the next question. Give me 1 second here. And then is this the career you wanted to pursue originally?
Yeah, so when I was in high school, growing up, I always loved basketball, and I started playing basketball, football when I was 6, and then like a year or two into football, I got hit too hard, so I quit. And then basketball is what I wanted to do, and then I got cut from the team like my freshman year, and then I kind of started to realize maybe you're not going to the NBA. And I started thinking about other avenues, and like my junior year, my friend asked me to join the paper. Joined the paper, began writing. And then ever since then, I think then I thought I wanted to do. I just think at that point I wanted to do sports journalism because I just wasn't good enough at basketball. But after my first year of college, I did an internship at a small website in Philly. And I ran track in high school and college. This is all coming together, I promise. Sorry, I'm talking for a while.
Oh
But
no, go ahead. Take your time.
yeah,
This is your spotlight. So I'm all ears.
got you. Yeah. So that summer, there was so my friend, my friend and this guy I competed with named Christian. We had the same name. Only person who I know who also his name is Christian, with a K. He was shot and killed a day before he was going to go to Penn State University on a track scholarship.
Oh.
So, and my editor asked me if I wanted to write about it, and I didn't really understand why, but she explained, you can, and you can use data and show that this is not an isolated incident in Philly, and that young Black men are, fear this every day. So I wrote it, and then I realized the impact that those kind of stories can have.
Oh
And
yes.
I think I fell in love with sport. Once I realized the power that sports can have in terms of using sports as an avenue to amplify a larger issue or a larger injustice, whether that be race or class or sexism or something like that. I fell in love with it, and those stories don't always come around. I haven't done one of those yet. Other than CP's cleats about Ahmaud Arbery,
Oh
but
yeah, I love it. With the they
yeah,
honor their cleats are honored. They're like I think Cordell Patterson has quite a few. And I've
yep,
seen quite a few on the website as well. So I think that's
yeah.
definitely beautiful.
Yeah. So that's why that's why I kind of fell in love with sports journalism and fell in love with journalism in general and what journalism could do. Journalists change laws in places and you know uh, find things out, and it's just I think that was when I figured it out. Sorry to go long winded there.
No, no,
Yeah.
and I understand that. Of course, we are just a podcast show. We're still coming up in this media world, and we understand that, especially when you're a journalist, everything that you say will be dissected. It's like a lot of times you
Yeah.
have to watch what you're saying, and
Yes,
of
for sure.
course, go into those type of articles to kind of bring awareness to a lot of things. Because
Yep.
say for instance, like Chuck Smith and
Mhm.
Terrence Mathis, they're walking, they're going around talking about just basically the head coaching situations that's going on in the NFL. We don't have a lot of African American head coaching. So,
Right.
of course, I'm
Yep.
starting to see a little buzz about maybe there's some things in the background, a lot of conversation, a lot of awareness is being brought to it. So, I'm
Yep.
praying that something does makes a difference somewhere. Like it's time to speak about it because I mean, we are just as talented as everybody else,
Yep.
and we have a lot of these players that put their lives on the line, like CTE and everything else,
Hmm.
for the ones that are capable of getting this job. It should be ample opportunities for them, and as well as, like you said, just bringing the awareness of the story to that, player that you don't know where they came from to,
Right.
get to this area,
Yeah.
like who just got the who's getting honored for his award for
Walter
the way he
Payton.
was. Yes. So
Mike Davis. Yep.
yes, Mike Davis, his story, where he
Mhm.
comes from, actually locally here, and he's basically the face of what's going on, what we need to embrace. Like starting
Yeah.
from somewhere, you don't have to always be there because this youth right now, they just they're lost, so they just
Yeah.
need guidance and they need people they can look up to. So definitely I appreciate you wanting to bring attention to those articles and things like that. So you guys check that out once you get a chance to get those in as
Yeah.
well. So thank you for that. But let's
Appreciate
go
you.
ahead and go to the meat and the potatoes of this. I thought this was amazing.
Yeah.
So we enjoyed the 30th anniversary of the Rudest team, story of the 1991 Atlanta Falcons. How was the experience hosting such legends?
Oh, it was amazing. It was really cool. The idea came together by one of our videographers, Chris Wink, and director of digital Dan Gadd, and then so many other people who put things together. And it's kind of odd because I'm the person on camera, so people are like, always some people are talking to me about it, and sometimes I feel like I was just the guy on camera. You know what I mean? There's a lot.
No, don't think that. You're not just you was the host, but you made it. You made it a beautiful 3 segments. So we enjoyed that. So look, don't underestimate yourself. You was part of an amazing project. So I definitely enjoyed it.
Yeah,
and I want to see more of those.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's what it seems like people are expecting. But it was amazing. I mean, those they make it easy. When people talk a lot, they make it, especially Glanville, he could take over. He could have took the whole thing over if he wanted to.
Exactly. That was so funny.
Just that team, I think, coming to Atlanta, I kind of learned that team and that year really resonated with Falcons fans, and it's a team that many Falcons fans today are fans of the Falcons because of that team, because of their memories at the Georgia Dome and Fulton County. And Dion, his Jerry curl wet, but that's not wet. It looks wet, but it's dry, or and
too legit to quit all of that.
Right, too legit to quit all that kind of stuff. So it just I felt like it was something that brought people back, and then I feel like hopefully also excited them for maybe we can recreate this energy in Atlanta again. And it was just an amazing thing to do, and I was just glad to be a part of it.
Oh, definitely. You know what? And speaking that you said that, I do feel like even though Arthur Smith is a new head coach and everything, but I feel like the players, it's the energy that they're starting to kind of broadcast a little bit more, making us a little bit more excited to watch this team, despite the record. But even though we're doing a little bit better this year than last season, but progression, that game against the Panthers was an overall complete game.
Yeah.
It's still the talk of the town right about now, how well that they perform. And it's like, is this a glimpse of what's to expect? Of course, we're going to get into that a little bit on down the line of this interview. But I do miss that energy. I do miss the Vic era. I miss Jamal Anderson, back that Super Bowl era. Just, the Dirty Bird in the city. It was like just Falcons gear everywhere you can find, people in the streets dancing. We need that again. We definitely need that again. But of course, it's going to probably take a win,
Yeah. I think hopefully it's coming soon. I mean, they got Pitts this year, and they got some. I feel like they got some guys this year who kind of embody that. And when I think about that, I think about a guy like CP Cordero. I feel like he and I'm not an Atlanta native, but I feel like he kind of embodies that attitude a little bit in terms of, CP talks a lot. He's going to talk to you. He's going to score on you. He's going to do something. He's going to let you know he's doing it. So I think hopefully that excitement is coming back. And I think being in a playoff hunt definitely helps that, I think.
Oh, yeah. And it's surprising because, of course, we definitely didn't think that we was going to be here at this point. So the fact that Sunday's game is just, pretty much all games is very important for us to get into the playoffs. But it's just the excitement around the fact that we actually have an opportunity. And then the fact that this is a young squad and they're out there cheering and having a good time getting the fans involved. We just got to win at home so we can experience that atmosphere too. But get us more excited. So Falcons fans, if you are watching this, cheer, show out, get all your gear. Let's just start doing Falcons Fridays like they used to do. Let's bring that back so we can just get the energy and get behind these players so they can perform, amazingly, because right now they're starting to get it. Definitely.
For sure.
So, I appreciate that. So let's go ahead and get into a couple of comments. I just wanted to, highlight everybody. Just happy to see that you are here. Noah said from Philly, went to college in Boston and came to Atlanta. Sounds like Matt Ryan.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends who went to Matt's school. So yeah, I've been there often. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Just saying hello. How you doing, Melvin? I'm sorry I couldn't get your comments right away. We had to get right into this and said, applause you for hosting. Yeah. Get your accolades for that because yes, you are. It's not just because they just threw you in there. I'm pretty sure they particularly was like, hey, we like your energy, we like, you know, what you bring to a project, and put you on. So take those accolades and enjoy it, because you know, it made me want to figure out who you are. You know, it made us interested in see more. So, you know, because a lot of your articles are just geared towards a message. That's one thing that I do appreciate about what you're putting out there, you know.
Appreciate that.
Let's get to the next question here. We're on the roll. We're on the roll. Let's go to of course, you had to mention this earlier, but you know, we see that you enjoy profiling players underneath the uniform, but and it doesn't even have to be a Falcons player, but whose story has impacted you the most? Like anything that was inspirational or just left you know, left something on you for doing that type of content.
Yeah, I think everyone, honestly, but I think I would say the three that stand out to me that I've done so far would probably be Mike Davis, Young Wei, and then CP Cordero. And I think Young Wei is interesting because Young Wei is kind of Young Wei is he doesn't talk a lot. Young Wei doesn't talk a lot. He doesn't like attention and
you can
media.
Tell. He just get out there and do what he need to do.
Exactly. He just goes out there and kicks the ball. but he's really he's a fascinating guy. You know, he's one of 4 South Koreans to ever play in the NFL. And so just by doing that, he represents so much. And that's a heavy burden to carry, right? You know, especially, you know, people, you know, often people might want you to be this beacon, this representation that, you know, or this hero that you didn't necessarily sign up to be. So it's a lot of pressure for him, I think, or for a person in that position, but he handles it gracefully, he handles it well. And when he speaks about it well, and he also doesn't speak about things that he doesn't understand completely, but he chooses when to speak, and when he does speak, it's effective. So I thought Young Wei stood out a lot, and also his journey to the league. You know, as a kicker, it's hard to stay in the league, especially when you flame out kind of once. Because Young Wei, his first stint in the league with the Chargers, he missed a couple game-winning kicks.
Yeah, it was. I think when he came to Atlanta, that's when it really kind of like Cordell. It's like when he came to Atlanta, it started to click for him.
Yeah, when they put everything together. So that was good. And I think Young Wei stood out. And then one more thing about Young Wei, he's like an athlete playing the kicker position. Not saying that kickers aren't athletes, because they are athletes, but I mean he's an athlete as in like this guy was a all-state or all-league defensive back and receiver in high school, and you know, it's just he does flips with his kicks. He's just an interesting dude. CP story was cool because CP's just a funny guy, and I feel like he opened up about why this year has been so effective. He talked about, you know, being a few hours away from home so he could visit his family. He feels comfortable. And then he talked about how his willingness to play 3 positions is because growing up, he watched his mom work 3 jobs. So that taught him that, you know, if she could work 3 jobs, I could play 3 positions, was the quote. And he kind of said, you know, why can't I do what she did for us? So that I thought that was really eye-opening. And then Mike Davis, he's another guy who Mike talks a lot, and he talks on Twitter, but not as much as like he talks a lot on Twitter, but not as much in like press conferences to the media. And like, he's not a boastful guy or brash or anything like that. And you might not know, it would be hard to find his upbringing in like, you know, a press conference or something like that. But in our interview, he talked about, you know, growing up and moving into the Hollywood court apartments, and there being a drive-by shooting.
I'm very familiar with it. It's a high crime area. It definitely.
Yep. Yeah. You know, drive-by shooting the first day, and then shootings after his football games, and you know how he compartmentalized those things, and how they motivated him to want to be better, and now he's giving back. So sorry that was a lot, but I would say those 3 really stand out to me and are people who stories I really appreciated.
Oh yeah, and I do too. I definitely do too, especially Mike Davis' recent story. You know, just the fact that it's local. He's locally
Mhm.
here. So it's those Falcons fans that are in high school and middle school and watching from afar, they're seeing his path and they can
Yep.
take example to it and just want to strive to be like him. Of course, it don't have to be football, but anything that you stick your mind to, just no matter where you are, there's resources, there's things out there to get you where you need to. Just you got to keep your mind to it. Don't ever let anyone tell you what you can and cannot do.
Yep.
Believe in yourself. If sometimes you got to believe only in yourself, but that's how it is. If
Yeah, for
nobody's
sure.
behind you, you know your goal and you keep pushing. Definitely.
Mhm.
Definitely. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And I agree. I did enjoy just seeing those stories too. It's very touching. Let's see. And we're going to get into a little bit of Falcons talk, just a little bit, because of course, like I said earlier, it's on the line. It's a possibility we can kind
Yeah.
of squeeze up in there, with the way that
Yes.
the league changed, with this extra game now. Now we're actually sitting in an okay situation where we control our destination right about now. So, how do you feel about the Atlanta Falcons playoff chances?
I think I think the Falcons playoff chances are as good as they've been in a long time. For I think they're as good as they've been in a long time, and I'll say that um, this team is interesting because they had to San Fran. I'm going out there tomorrow, and they have played really well. Away from home. So I think their chances coming in this weekend go increase because they're not home, and that sounds weird to sound because they played so well there. I don't think there's some magic in there, but for some reason, when they travel, they play really well. But I think when you look at their schedule, they have the 49ers this weekend, then Detroit comes here, and then they
Mm-hmm.
go to the Buffalo, and then the Saints come to Atlanta. So out of those games, you have two teams that are under 500. One team you already beat in the Saints arrival. So those might be considered winnable games, and then you have the Bills, a team who has been up and down this year, and the 49ers as well, who've been up and down. So I think the Falcons are looking at this final stretch, and they've said it themselves. They've said, um, we are embracing the pressure of
Mm-hmm.
this final stretch, and we know we need to win each week. So yeah, I think their chances, like I don't want to give a percentage, but I think, like I said, and as you know, I think they're as good as they've ever been, and I think this team is playing the best that they've been all season
Yeah,
right
I
now.
agree. I agree.
Yeah. So I think, the defense has scored points the last 2 weeks. The offense is running the ball effectively, something that, hasn't been the case in Atlanta since Devontae Freeman, maybe. so,
Ooh.
and so I think there's a lot to be excited about, and they could very well get in there.
Oh yeah, definitely. And one thing I love about Arthur Smith's coaching style is kind of, not to knock off the previous regime, but it's a lot less catchphrases and favoritism we felt. Of course, we're the Falcons fan looking outside in,
Right.
but to us, it just felt like it wasn't taken as serious as far as accountability,
Hmm.
competition. Some players might have felt, hey, I got a paycheck, it's a job. At the end of the day, I don't feel like I have to work as hard because, hey, I know my career still be on there. But of course, can't speak
Right.
for a professional player. But that's just the feel that it gave us. It's like
Yeah.
they don't take it serious, so we're not going to, really be behind this team. I think now that
Mhm.
everybody's seeing how hard these young players are, trying to be the best and be better. We flip around with the practice squad. Other players that we haven't heard their names in a while are getting opportunities at this point. It's exciting
Right.
to watch and watch it develop.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
For sure, yeah, and I think that's good to hear because I think there's, like you said, there's some more excitement in the city now. New regime, new players, like you said, young players playing well. So yeah.
Oh, definitely, definitely. So, anything you wanted to add to that? Any players that that sticks out to you as far as players that are just really just exciting to watch at this point? I know you kind of
Yeah.
are close to him a little bit more. So,
Yeah.
which player stands out to you the most that you really want to see their career kind of, take off?
Oh, I
Is it
mean, I really
franchise?
like I really like I really like Cordero a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I really like CP. I like his attitude. I like the way he plays, and I think it's hard to find people in the NFL who have their best season at 30, and he's a guy who's doing that. And he just and he just is also like a good dude. He's a good quote, I should say. He's a good quote to talk to after practice. He's always funny. So I like him, and I think what he's bringing to this offense is amazing in terms of what he brings as a runner and as a receiver. And the offense looks completely different when he's in the game. So I think
It
he's big
does.
time. And then AJ Terrell is the real deal. I think he's solidified himself this season as a legitimate, number one corner, and one of the better corners in the NFL. I don't, know where you want to rank him. I think he's up there with one of the better cornerbacks in the league. So I think AJ is someone who excites me. And then I also like the young safeties, Hawkins and Richie Grant. And I think they have some great leadership there, and Eric Harris, who I know is out for the season now, and Deron Harmon.
Yeah.
Great mentorship in that safety room. So I think those guys, Jalen Hawkins is going to step up, and I think he's going to be great in that role. And weirdly enough, I also Lee Smith is probably
Yeah.
one of my favorite guys because he's just a good quote. He curses a lot, and he's funny. I'll tell you, you might want to edit that in your little story. He's a good, and then he's really close with Kyle and Hayden too, of course. But him and Kyle have a relationship because it's like it's a weird thing you would imagine. This guy, he's probably the most Southern man possible from Tennessee, like uh, in Lee Smith, and then you got Kyle from Philly. So it's just two different worlds, but they get along.
Okay. So this.
You know, yeah, it's like two different worlds, but they're so close. And they're after practice, they're playing games, trying to throw the ball from like midfield through the field goal, and yeah. So I like to see. So those are some players, and obviously I'm likely forgetting a few, but those are some those are some of the guys I like and expect big things from.
Okay. And if someone asked, do you actually attend the games as well to get
Yeah,
those
yeah, yeah.
interviews? Okay.
Yes. I attend the games. Yeah, I'm going to San Fran tomorrow, so I'll be at that game.
Okay. So definitely don't want to hold you up too much longer because I know you got to get on your flight. Many blessings to you, Kris. Let's get to this last and
Thank
final
you.
question. And but I definitely appreciate you just taking the time out so quickly to reach out and do this interview. But let's go ahead and talk about what's next for you. Any interesting projects on the horizon for you that we need to be looking for? Quote, quote, hint, hint.
There's I'm not sure if you, but we're doing well, it's written right now, but we're doing a scouting series on it's called Meet the Scouts. So we're writing about the personnel department
Mhm.
and the people who scout the players to make the team great. People who found players like Grady Jarrett who become superstars, and obviously those guys who were pegged as stars like Matt Ryan who went in the first round.
So who's
So
those and those are very important, to
yeah,
that player as
yeah.
well. So yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
so we're doing those, and we're three stories in. They feature features on the scouts, and then also features on how they found a player. So, like a story I wrote today was about that went up today was about how they found Grady Jarrett. So it talks to like Brent Venables, the former Clemson defensive coordinator, and some other people about the process of how they found him, and um, but moving forward in the off season, I can't say too much, but I will just say there'll be a lot of cool video stuff coming. I think in the off season, there's a lot of cool
Yeah,
stuff that
y'all heard it here first.
there's a lot of cool stuff that the digital team has planned, and I from Scott, Tori, and myself, and our amazing video team and digital team. So be on the lookout for some cool content, and hopefully, we can follow up with something that y'all enjoy as much as the 91 series.
Okay, and let us know where we can find that in case some people kind of joined late to this stream. Where can they
Okay.
find this content?
Yeah, you can find this content at atlantafalcons.com or Atlanta Falcons on YouTube or on my Twitter. It's at Kris Rhim 1. And yeah, make sure you subscribe or to YouTube and follow and, show us some love if you like it. And download the Falcons app.
Oh yeah.
Download the Falcons app and you get push notifications so you don't miss out on the latest news.
Y'all make sure you tag him on Twitter or wherever you're, watching the content. If you're enjoying it, leave comments on the videos, but please tag him in it. Tori and Scott. Is Scott correct?
Yep. Yeah, Scott.
Okay, I got it right. Okay. Tag them and just let them know exactly how much you are enjoying this, because we're excited to kind of, I can say I'm loving the energy and the change in the media. I know that you guys were brought to kind of bring a difference to, what we're seeing now. And I'm loving that it's more in depth to, we're starting to learn the player a lot more versus what we hear in the media. Maybe what they might share with us. Like Julio Jones, we never knew anything about Julio Jones, so getting to the life of these players and then, the coaching, the scouts and, just from the beginning to how a player gets developed. I think that's interesting. So I appreciate you guys are definitely doing that. It's been fun to watch. Definitely, if you could put a bug in someone's ear, that 91 segment, look, could you do another one for maybe the Super Bowl team? Jamal Anderson, all of them. I would love to have. I think Chris Chandler. I think he's kind of ill, isn't it? CTE, I believe. But those players, and Chuck Smith and all of them, still available. Y'all can get that team together and do another little show like that. That would be amazing.
That's what people been saying. That's what everybody's been clamoring for. So I'm sure that'll be something soon.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and I appreciate you having me on, Miss Maggie. It's been a great time.
Any last minute words before I let you go? I appreciate you once again. Thank you.
No, I just it's cool to be, in Atlanta. It's cool to do things like this and meet, passionate fans who also support our work and are, so kind and, just want to help us grow and introduce us to more people. So loving Atlanta, love being on here. Appreciate you, Miss Maggie. And
thank you. Yeah. Appreciate you once again. It was an honor. It definitely was an honor. I learned a lot. And of course, we're going to be looking out for your content, and we're definitely going to be sharing on Atlanta Falcons Nation. But thank you once again, and safe flight, and definitely cheer, and get all that excitement out there, because it's a big game for us,
For sure.
It definitely is. Well, thank you again, Kris, and you have a wonderful evening.
You too.
Thank you. All right, guys. Thank you. I'm here by myself. I thought Matt Mike was in the back, but I appreciate you guys tuning in to me today. It was kind of last minute for me, but I thank you guys. But make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I appreciate you guys once again. And I'm out, people. Peace.